Hey there guys, I'm going to run over just SimCity in general in terms of how to make some money and a quick review of it now that things have moved on and they've finally fixed everything. I've been playing it for quite a while now, and as you can see, this is my city of quite a new region. So I've got a little city down there and I've got my industrial city here. From playing it so far, it's pretty good fun, I've got to say. People have been complaining about a lot of change basically, and it's not that big an issue at the end of the day. Like, it's okay, it's been changed, but it's been done well and ended up with pretty solid products. So I'm going to go over today how basically to make some money, because this is one of the issues I was having. And yeah, so basically, as far as I've found, the best way to make money is like an industrial city. I've tried to watch a few YouTube videos on making a gambling city, and to be honest, I can't figure out how to do it. I've tried again and again and again, and they just keep failing. And that's another thing as well. They seem to be videos starting out from scratch basically, and this doesn't really work because in SimCity there is a bit of luck involved as to whether you're going to be able to make a good, like, successful city. So I thought I'd start from a complete city that's already a success and tell you how I got here. This made more sense to me than starting right at the beginning and sort of telling you exactly what to do as I do it. But if it doesn't work at the end of the day, what's the point? Wasted 4 hours of my life, 4 hours of your life. So this is it. Just a few tips if you've got the road coming in like this, so you can see there's only one entrance to the highway. Make sure you always have 2 avenues coming off it to try and reduce traffic. There are 2 types, either this or you have the main road actually running through your city. If you've got that, it's not such a big deal because you have avenues just coming off anyway. So yeah, here's my city. It's ticking over quite nicely. Water issues? No, there aren't really water issues. Fire issues? Yeah, I know that's an issue, but I've got helicopters, so what are you going to do? Basically, the first thing you want to do in a brand new region is create. I'm not going to load it because I don't want you have to sit here and just watch loading screens. But I've got this city over here that's plodding along quite nicely. It was going to be education, but it's mainly just high wealth. And this city basically doesn't do anything in particular. It's not specialised at all, but it does supply the region with some housing, some workers and some commercial that is necessary for you to have good other cities. So it can't really be specialised. I've tried to specialise in the first city in the region, it's never really worked. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to make a city that ticks over. That'll supply the other city with some stuff it needs, and this works quite well. So one of the things, I've got some commercial demand now, but that's purely because of the size of this city. The city is now huge. I don't know if you can see the population of my city that's just ticking over. Yes, see, that's 45,000 people. This has got 146,000 people, 47 almost. So yeah, there is some commercial demand now, but right at the beginning, and probably until sort of a couple of hours ago in terms of gameplay time, there was no commercial demand at all. And I'll show you how much commercial I've got. This, literally, like the 2 buildings there, that is all the commercial I've got. And yeah, you don't really need it anymore. Like, commercial is mainly there. Okay, the Sims need a few shops, but it's mainly there for the tourist cities. Like, you want quite a lot of commercial because it builds up hotels. So yeah, originally, well, I'll show you how to decide basically where your industrial city is going to be, because this seems to be the best way to make money, like I said, and it can fund sort of your almost a sandbox game. You can then use this to sort of send out gifts of $1 million and try and make that casino city and stuff like that. But if you figure out how to do it, please post a link to your YouTube channel because I can't figure out how to do it yet. Wind. So the wind is constant. I think it's throughout the entire region. If it's not throughout the entire region, it's constant for the 4 cities per Great Work site. So if you haven't played the game that much yet, each Great Work site is attached to either 3 or 4 cities depending on the map. This one's got, I think it's 2 4s and a 3, and those sort of cities are the only ones that interact with that Great Works. I think the Great Works I don't know if the Great Works supplies the entire region or not, but it can only be built by these 4 cities. So I've got this, I'm sending stuff over here, you can see But I've tried it before. If I was to build a city over there as part of that Great Works, I couldn't then send stuff from there to here. It's kind of annoying, but yeah, that's how it works. And yeah, so what was I saying? Right, so to begin with, yeah, the wind map, sorry. And obviously this is, if we look here, that's the edge of the map. This is blowing out the region. This is perfect. Okay. Ground pollution don't need to worry about. The next thing you need to know is just where your resources are. So as you can see, a lot of this has been used up now, but I had 2 raw ore deposits. I also had a coal deposit here. This is similar. If you had oil in your city, you could use a similar tactic. So basically the first thing I did, avenue up here, avenue along here. I knew that I wanted to make 2 industrial sites to begin with, so I did. This has now been changed. This was originally all industrial, and the same here. This was originally all industrial. As industrial grew up and there was high demand for residential, I changed the sort of layout, but yeah, that's how it begun. And then this avenue in the middle was residential. So yeah, and basically you want to just make a city that plods along, ticks over. To begin with, before you specialise, you need to be profitable before specialising. There's no point trying to specialise early, or too early I should say, simply because if you start losing money, there's not an easy way to get out of it. It's not worth doing. Another reason for having a city early in the region that's just ticking over, that's my other city, is you don't have to build all the city hall modules. You've already got access to all of that, and that's a great help, especially in terms of keeping traffic down. Okay, so yeah, I built that, made a residential area, and then yeah, once I had a city that was plodding along, the first thing to build is a clinic in an industrial city. Your Sims are going to get sick. You obviously want fire fairly early as well, because industry seems to set. Oh, talking of fires, industry tends to sort of set fire. And a school to try and reduce this. You reduce crime, you reduce fire and everything with a school, so it's a really good building to build early on. Okay, so once you've got that, you want to save up 32,500, I think it is. 10,000 plus, yeah, so 32,500, and you want to build one of these that's an ore mine. So you just go on here, and you don't want to build it everywhere. Like, I didn't really want to build 2 locations, have huge amounts of industry, because then I was going to have less people to sort of work in these places. So I decided on my place, because it was near the coal as well. I decided this was the best corner to put my industry. The wind is also blowing in this direction, so it's going to blow it away from my residential. So I decided this was best, and so that's what I did. So I built one of them, and then there we go. And then I've now got a trade port, but I originally had a load of trade depots around this square here. Oh come on, fire engine, where are you? Out responding to fires. Well, you're not, are you? Really? There's a lot of green fire. Okay, but yeah, sorry. Anyway, actually, I've got a trade depot here, so you can see what it looks like. So I'm bringing in oil at the minute because I need oil for the Great Works. So here I've got my trade depot, and you go manage market deliveries, and basically to begin with you'll be getting lots of raw ore and some coal, and you just want to export. Don't worry about making smelting factories, etc. This will bring you in quite a lot of money quite quickly, relative to the size of your city. Like, normally a city of the size that it will be at that point will be earning nowhere near that much. Another thing to look at is the budget panel. I'm getting minus 30,000, bit of backlog on it. I'm getting plus 219,000. That's because of all these alloy, selling alloy, basically. So yeah, don't worry about it if it goes negative. Try to keep it positive for as long as possible. I probably spent about 50% of the game so far, at least, in the positive. And then when it goes to negative, hopefully it won't go before you have smelting factories, basically. Aim to have smelting factories before it goes negative, I'd say is your best bet. So anyway, it will plod along. This will plod along with coal and ore. Start off with ore, like I said, especially if you've got more ore. In all the maps I've played so far where I've played industry cities, there's always seemed to be a lot of ore but very little coal. Don't know if that's just a general thing or that just happens to be the mats I played. If you've got more coal, you might want to start with coal, just because it will last longer. Look, I've only got 1 month's supply left. That's another thing. When I built these, it claimed, I think it was a 16 or 18 month supply. Now they've now got 1 and 2 month and 2 month. I built these in, it must have been half a game year, so maybe an hour in, less than that probably, and now in May year 4, so I have no idea what relation this month's supply has to it. Don't worry about it, it will last ages, like, it's not an issue. By the time you run out of ore, you'll be able to import ore and be selling alloys, so it really won't matter. And that kind of brings me along to the next point. So you've got these things plodding along. When you can, when you've unlocked it, you want to place this metals HQ. I think is this building, yes. And then when you earn so much from selling raw ore, you might have to build, like I did. I had to build 2 fully kitted out ore mines and was selling stuff. And then you can build the smelting. No, it doesn't give me its name, but this is the smelting. Oh, it's task. Don't want to do that. This is the smelting HQ, and once you've got that, you can build these that are smelting factories. This thing here. This basically allows you to turn coal and raw ore into metal and alloy. Now, I have to say there's very little point making metal, apart from, if I go like this, you see you need it for the international airport, and I think you need it for the archaeology. I haven't tried the other two, so I couldn't tell you exactly the resources you need for them, but metal earns you a hell of a lot less money than alloy does. So in general, start off, at least go for alloy. I've currently got 3 making, this one's just making alloy, this one's got, because as standard they come with 1 metal sort of unit, I guess it is, so it's producing a bit of metal, and then I've got 1 kitted out to just produce metal, and that's just for the airport. As soon as I built the airport, I'm going to demolish all of this and just change them to alloy like segments, and I'm going to demolish these ones to change to alloy segments, because it just earns so much more. There's no point having metal. Also worth having one of these, a recycling centre, because it gets you free alloy, and you can send that to the trade depot, one of these. Eventually you'll probably be able to open a trade port. That's when you get the trade HQ, and they are kind of useful. You just have to be careful with them in terms of what you upgrade, because they can hold so much stuff compared to these, so they take up a hell of a lot less room, but you've got to make sure you have the correct upgrades for it. So you have to get the trading HQ with metals division to hold stuff like the raw ore and things like that. There's no point having one unless you have that upgrade. It just won't help you. Yeah, spent to the ground, not surprised. Traffic is another thing you need to take into consideration. I built it like this, so I've got avenues coming off in this sort of square fashion, and then I've got high streets coming off it. Traffic is an issue simply because all of your resources, make sure everything's still okay, sorry. Yep, all of your resources basically are shuttled to a trade depot, and then, for instance, all of the ore mine trade resources will be taken to a trade depot or a trade port, and then they will be shuttled from here to the various other buildings. If your traffic is bad, it can't get there, basically, and especially early game, if your traffic is bad, it can't get here and it can't get sold, because this has a train link, but these just have vans, so the vans need to be able to leave the city to sell it, and that's quite vital. So for obvious reasons, you need to, yeah, keep traffic sort of flowing, basically, and the best way to do this early game is with a bus shelter. So that's what I did. It was very recently, it was within the last hour of gameplay that I upgraded all of these to streetcars. They have reduced traffic a huge amount, but like I say, it's easy. Well, yeah, you don't need to upgrade to it too quickly. I've also got a bus depot somewhere. I can't see it. Can't remember where I put it, but it's not an issue. Now, another thing, you're going to be churning out huge amounts of money, so invest in university. There's no point not investing in university. What this does basically is, 1, lets you get high-tech industry. This reduces your pollution level. That is quite a big thing in an industrial city. Like, you're churning out huge amount of pollution that people don't really like. So change to high-tech industry and it reduces this. Also lets you get upgrades for things like police station and primarily this, which is the hazmat fire trucks. The green fire you saw earlier that they just neglected, unfortunately, was a hazmat fire, and you need hazmat fire trucks to put those out. You can't put them out with normal fire trucks, they'll just burn your buildings to the ground, basically. It also allows you to research, I know it sounds like silly things, but things like this solar array and the vertical turbines. Any of you that have played the game before will know that if you make a city that you don't want too much pollution in, you're forced to use the wind turbines and stuff quite early game, and they take up a lot of room. If you don't change them out for something else, especially, they take up a huge amount of room to power just a small city. I mean, I think you can see, yeah, that this only had 50,000 people in, or less than 50,000 people, and you can see this massive area I'm using just for a wind farm. I haven't actually been over there to change them to vertical turbines yet, but it does use a huge amount of money. Another little tip, eventually I'm going to build these because they're going to run out, and there is an issue with the game, and that's water. If I bring this up, you'll see how little water there is left there, and how little, okay, there's quite a lot of water left here, but it's reducing loads. There is a way to get unlimited water, and that's with ground pollution. It's a ridiculous feature. Basically, if ground pollution is caused, you put one of these down and you delete the original thing that came with it. If I do this one, so it originally comes with these basic water pumps. You delete that and change it for a filtration pump. This gives you unlimited water. It's the only way to do it, and it's a bit annoying, but that's how you do it. Oh yeah, another thing about the university is you can lay a nuclear power plant, and you really need this. Like, I had an oil one completely maxed out and it wasn't enough. It was 100 watts deficit. I don't know what happened, but it suddenly hit 100 watt deficit, so I had to upgrade to a nuclear power plant. This uses a huge amount of water, so again, goes back to the water issue. Okay, anyway, you've now got, so I've been through that and I've been through smelting factories. Now I've got smelting factories. When you're at this stage, as long as you've got your fire, your police and your clinic sort of maxed out, you can probably walk away from the computer now. That's what I do in cities like this. It will tick over quite happily by itself, as long as you've got sort of an oil power plant powering everything. That's one thing that can go wrong, is the sewage, the water and the power suddenly run out and all your stuff closes down and then you lose loads of money. As long as that doesn't happen, you can leave it plodding over. Eventually you'll get 1 million. Once you've got 1 million, you can start looking at a great work site like I have. And basically, when you're building a great work site, there is an issue that arises, and this is the alloy that you've got to send over. Because if I go to here, global market deliveries, right, exporting alloy gets you loads of money, and this is what you've got to do to make profit in an industrial city. However, if you're exporting, you cannot use this alloy on the great work site. This, I didn't realise this at first, and it kind of annoyed me because I thought, well, I've got excess, surely some can go there, but no, that's not how it works. You have to be using locally for it to go to the great work site. So you kind of have to sort of click the use locally button, go away 15 minutes, leaving it on full speed, maybe 10 depending on how much alloy you're producing, come back, hopefully you have about 100,000 left, start exporting again, leave it for another 15 minutes, come back, hopefully you have just over 1 million, and just keep doing this until it's full of alloy. Now I have to say, do not send everything at once, only send alloy to begin with. Sell your metal, sell your plastic, all of that, sell it, because it's the only thing that will keep you afloat in terms of money. Once you've done that, once you've sent all the alloy, you have no issue, because alloy is worth so much money that it sells for so much that you can just be selling alloy. And I'm now importing raw because I'm not getting enough of it. I think I'm importing coal actually. No, I don't have to import coal at the minute, but yeah, once you've done that, alloy sells for so much that you can afford to send metal and oil at the same time, and I'm importing all my oil. Oh, what are you complaining about now? Okay, and yeah, that's basically the best way to make a great work site, is using this industrial city. And this basically means that once I've done this, over there I will be making a tourist town, sort of with casino and stuff. and I'm hoping that the international airport is going to mean that it actually works once, because I've tried so many times. I think I just said this. Tourism City. I think I made a successful Tourism City with what's it called? One of these things, and then I added one of these things, and just not enough people were coming, and just it wasn't working at all. I needed more people there, and the gambling city, I have no idea. I can build this one and make profit, but as soon as I build one of these, it's like minus 20,000 a day. I just don't know what's going on. I built an airport because this gives the advantage of giving your fire station helicopters as well as your police station, wherever that's gone. Yeah, it gives them helicopters. That's quite a good advantage. It also is what allows you to build the international airport. I do have tourists arriving. I don't know why they're arriving. Some sort of pollution-loving mental people. But yeah, they're coming in, and I think that's it. So if you could give my video a thumbs up. This is my first YouTube video. I'm planning to do more. Please comment with suggestions of how I could make them better. Obviously, try not to be abusive if you can refrain, but any suggestions are welcome. I need advice on how to make my things better, and just, yeah, what you'd like to see in future videos. I'm quite happy to do anything that sort of YouTube wants me to do within reason. And yeah, thanks.